For question number 3, I want to make the quick disclaimer that the only folks who should try questions 3 through 7 are those who have access to a calculator. Normally we would do these problems with calculators in class because, as you know, we have the graphing calculators that we would get used to using and have access to them during class periods. But I know that not all of us have purchased a graphing calculator for ourselves, so it would be kind of unfair for you to do some of these questions with a calculator if you don't have access to one. Now, to be fair, you could always use an alternative calculator to do this, and if you still want to follow along, even if you won't have a graphing calculator to do it, you have a couple of options. One option is if you have a phone calculator, you can often rotate your phone calculator landscape or sideways and produce a few more options. Usually it gives you like a full scientific calculator to use, and oftentimes those calculators have a log button as one of the options. Another option, if you don't have an actual calculator device with you at all, is to go to desmos.com/calculator, because even though Desmos is primarily known as a graphing calculator, it can actually do calculations as well. If you simply type into the left-hand side of Desmos, where you normally type an equation to graph, it can actually do calculations for you just like normal. So you could actually type something like log 100 and it'll give you an answer. It won't graph it for you, it'll just give you an answer, just like a regular calculator would. So if you do want to follow along with these videos with some sort of unorthodox calculator, even if you don't have a graphing calculator that matches mine, that's completely okay. Follow along with whatever device you have. Just make sure it has a log button. If you're using a graphing calculator, the log button is over here on the left-hand side of buttons near the 7. If you're using a different style of calculator, you'll need to take some time to find whatever you have and to look for any button that says log. All you have to do to answer question A is press the log button and then type 100. On my calculator, it can just do that calculation when you press enter, and you'll get an answer of 2. And I don't expect you to know yet why it did that. In fact, this is a bit of an investigation. I'm going to ask you to type all of these answers into your calculator. So in letter B, log 10. Write the number that you get as an answer, and don't spend too much time dwelling on it yet. The goal is that you can actually do all of the parts from A through F, and to make an observation. What do you notice about the answers that you're getting? And does there seem to be any relationship between the log that you typed and the number that you got as an answer? I'm going to give you a hint. What you're actually looking for here, the question that we're attempting to answer, is what base is the calculator using? Because if you notice, there is no subscript on any of these logs. The log button of your calculator doesn't even show a subscript. It just says log. It doesn't show anything after the letter G to indicate what base it's using. So that's actually the point of question number 3, is to ask yourself, what little invisible base is hiding down here? What subscript is invisibly working? Because it's obviously going to have a base. Every log has a base, but what is it? And assuming that all of these calculations are being done with the same device, the question is, what is that base consistently in all of these questions? So pretend, if you will, that there's a little hidden mysterious subscript next to all of these log expressions, down below in the normal spot where the subscript always is, and see if you can ask yourself, what is that subscript? What is the base that makes this exponential expression make sense? So again, that's the hint that I'm going to give you. That's what you're trying to investigate. Why is your calculator spitting out these numbers? And what does that have to do with those exponential relationships we've been pursuing? Try to do all of question number 3 on your own to see if the observation jumps out to you. If you feel as though you don't see anything or you're just not sure, then in the next video, I'll give away what the actual relationship is for those of us who might need a little bit more of a hint.